Hey, all. It is one of your hosts, Daniel Faust, for Learn and Live, and also the TV show War Hero to Superhero, transforming military veterans and first responder lives from the bedroom to the boardroom. This week is exciting because we're back in the bedroom. Now, obviously, I'm in the garage, not in the bedroom, but we're in metaphorically the bedroom. And today's topic for the past couple of days is bedroom. Let's talk dirty, part 3. Now, you think we're going to be talking about dirty talk in the bedroom, but not this time around. Maybe another time. But today, we're talking about a dirtier topic than sex, conversation, everything else. Sex is actually clean compared to this topic because this topic drives a wedge faster than bad sex or no sex. Now, I don't want you to have bad sex or no sex, but this one can actually go over and make sex bad and also make having no sex very quickly. It's actually one of the top 10 reasons for divorce and separation. If you've been following us the past couple of days, you already know what topic it is. If you haven't, it is money or finances. And as we go this week, we're going to be coming from 5 different angles on how to talk about money without it feeling or being dirty. Even though we're probably going to go to digital currency in the next few years, the topic of money, finances will still always be an awkward topic. We're hoping to demystify that and go over and help you out. We love money, don't we? We love money. But when we visit it as a topic in marriage, we often don't like talking about money. It gets kind of awkward. So tonight, we're going to be diving into 7 taboo topics of money and marriages. Money and marriage. Whoops. Welcome to typos. So buckle up for a bumpy ride because we're going to go jump in. And this topic is inspired by www.farley.com. And if you want to go read more in depth with this afterwards, you can go look for the blog post, 7 uncomfortable financial conversations, all married couples, no matter if they're military, veteran, first responder, but for my opinion, especially in that realm, need to have. And that's by Adam Bulger. So you can go back to his blog if you want to go read it. So if my voice is not enough for you, you can go read it somewhere else. All right, so let's go jump into the 7 uncomfortable financial conversations that all married couples should have. First off is spending allowance. You were a kid once and you did certain chores and you either got a commission or an allowance or whatever it is. And what happened is now you went over and got married and you became an adult and you thought, I was free to not have to worry about that anymore. I can just swipe my card when it is. Well, you can go over and do that in marriage if you like. But if you want your marriage to go over and thrive and you don't want your checking account to constantly go negative, a spending allowance would be key. And here's some tips to go over and to help you with the spending allowance. Number 1, you have to know what type of person you are. First off, are you the spender or the saver? So go back to yesterday's episode and go reference that. From there, number 2, spending allowances should be in mind with both parties in mind. Either if you're 1 income or 2 incomes. Both people need to go over and talk in that particular regard, because what happens is that if you go over and you just say it's his money and her money, or it's not our money, that's where the conflicts go over and come in, because not both partners are never going to earn the same amount. Sometimes you're going to have seasons that one partner is working, the other one's not. Sometimes you have both partners working. Sometimes you won't have both partners working and you'll be living on a retirement. No matter where it is, this should be a regular conversation on how much you're spending either daily, weekly, or monthly. You know, sometimes you might not be ready to go double down like on a mortgage and make 2 payments on there a month. Other times you might be thinking that you just need to pay the minimal bill, but you both need to be on the same regard on what you're going to be spending, either spending in bills or spending on new bills or spending on things that are impromptu and other things. So you need to go over and have that discussion. So I would challenge you, and we'll get to the challenge at the end, but I would challenge you in this particular regard is to actually have that conversation. Most times that's going to drive a wedge in there. The next one is even worse. The credit combo or the credit conversation. Ooh, that's a rough one, isn't it? Going over and maybe bringing a car, a house, a boat, etc. Most of us in middle America, especially as military veterans and first responders, we can't just go drop a bunch of cash going over and getting a car, getting a house, getting a boat, motorcycle, ATV, whatever the big purchase is. Usually the power of credit goes over and opens the gateway. Now you could be on one side or the other, whatever it is, but you need to know what that conversation is. You could be on the side of where Dave Ramsey on the extreme is only use credit to get a home and that's it. And you could be on the other side of, hey, as long as I leverage credit to go over and to grow things, because even businesses count too in that particular regard. So you're going to have that nasty conversation. You know, more than likely, if you've been married more than 6 to 12 months, you already know the person's social security number for whatever purposes that you need. So that credit conversation should be had. We always at Learning Live recommend if you're dating to get that in premarital counseling to start bringing those things and hashing it out. But if you haven't before, it's going to eventually come. And you don't want to be the person going over and trying to apply for a house or a car and whatnot. And then you get denied and your spouse is wondering why and start asking those crazy questions. It's basically, yes, it's privacy information for you, but when you go over and get married, it's typically needs to be now a married conversation, that particular part. So rip off the Band-Aid and go over and have it. I know it's not going to be easy. My credit score totally blows. I'll admit it right now. I'm ranging between a 420 and a 450, but I don't leverage my credit for anything I go over and do. And as I grow the business in that particular regard, but my wife is aware of it. And so are you guys now. So you rip off the Band-Aid and go over and have that conversation because that's going to be helpful for you. It's not going to be easy, but it's better to go over and be there because at least, you know, you're having a better life with having that conversation. Going from there, another conversation we want to challenge you to talk dirty about is it's all mine. When we over and come in marriage, we come with resources, right? So pretend this is my resource. I come into marriage and this is her resource coming into marriage. You know, sometimes I'm going to need a pencil. Sometimes I'm going to need a smartphone. The biggest thing is what are you going to go share in the marriage? That's another contention about that we have is what's mine and what's yours. Well, if you follow the old standard vows, it's supposed to be sharing of all resources, but nowadays, we have to have those conversations. What are we going to share? Are we going to go do a prenup? Are we going to go over and say, this is my resources, this is yours? What do we share and don't share? Do we have joint checking accounts? Do you go over and have joint resources? Do you have more than one home in that particular regard? Because sharing of resources is great and whatnot, but if the person's not on board, it doesn't go work out well. So you have to know what you're walking into. That's another conversation that could be sketchy, but once you find out the reasons why, ooh, sorry, one moment. Ooh, shouldn't have done that. You know, I try to prep to not have those issues happen, but the body does. So in the sense of sharing, you have to start figuring out what you're going to share and what you're not going to share. Like, I don't share any of my clothes, really. Like once my wife goes over and wears one of my shirts, I give it to her. You know, it's taken years for her to quote unquote get used to that. And the thing is that I don't share my clothes. Maybe other guys do. They think their wives look beautiful and sexy in them. For me, I'm like, it's my clothes. And once you wear them, they won't fit me the way that they fit before. So I don't share that. So we have to know what are we considering sharing and not. Now, the majority of everything else, I share. But you know, you have to know those pet peeves, you know, on what's to share, what's not to share. It could be as simple as a cup of water. Some people don't like that. So we need to know what to sharing. But when it comes to definitely finances, that's key on what resources you're going to share or not share, because then it also decides on how much money you're going to be spending too. Now, the most uncomfortable conversation outside of finances that is covered in finances is the eternal sleep. The eternal sleep is death, if you didn't understand that one already. And the thing is where do you want your money to go? Where do you want your assets to go? What resources do you want to go? For me, as a veteran, I put $400,000 away through my servicemen's group life insurance. And in that particular regard, I already have most of what it's allocated to and where I want it to go. You got to have those conversations before those things happen, especially in our particular realms. You never know what's going to go over and happen. So I've already decided that, like, hey, it's allocated in 36 months. It's $11,000 coming in a month. I have in my will, or soon to be, that my wife would travel and my kids would travel to each location I've been to, major location, and connect with those people. Obviously after COVID, if I died today, but I have that planned in there. So she's set up well for those 36 months. Now, once we get out of the military, I plan to increase to $1 million and then have certain plans and assets. But you need to have those conversations because we're not guaranteed life. There's 20,000 accidents a day when we're back to pre-COVID driving. It'll probably decrease a bit. But the thing is that you have basically 20,000 chances to avoid every single day from that eternal sleep. And that's just driving. So we need to have those conversations beforehand so our spouses are not freaking out in the back end. Next little financial conversation to challenge you with is stuff it in a box or invest it. So we go over and we should be saving for our retirement and for other things and whatnot. But do we go over and stuff it in a box and just put it in a savings account? Or do we go over and invest it? Do we put it into investments? Do we go do growth stock mutual funds like Dave Ramsey recommends? Or am I going to ride an option for 12%? Am I going to invest? Are you guys going to invest into a business? You know, where do you both go over and agree upon those certain places? For me, I did G funds for a long time, and that was stupid, at least for me. And I should have went over and invested into a box instead of then when the economy crashed. But the thing is that if your spouse is not on board, you go over. It doesn't matter how much interest you go over and make. You could go over and lose the interest of your spouse. So you need to start having those conversations on where you want your investments, where you want your portfolio to be, where do you want your retirement to be? Like, for example, are you going to rely on Social Security? Little tidbit, and go look this up because I'm not a financial expert, but you know, I've heard after $100,000 of income that you earn a year when you're in retirement, that Social Security goes away. Bye-bye. So you want to go think about that, where you're shoving your money. Are you shoving it in a box? Are you investing it? Are you expecting certain retirement plans to go work out? You know, if you have a low mortality rate, you know, like myself with medical issues, maybe it's best to put a little extra way to have your retirement benefit turn into a death benefit. You can actually do that in the military when you retire from the military and from the government service, is that you can take a little bit of your retirement and you sacrifice. It's about 150 to $300. Go get back with your respectable people to get the exacts, but you can protect it and go over. And yeah, you get a little less, but your spouse has it because you invested that money a month. So next topic, where do I spend it? Because that can be a contention of marriage. Let's say, for example, you make $4,000 a month, $2,000 is in bills, and now you're spending $1,500 on golfing or sports or makeup or food. I know when we first got married, a contention spot for me, and it's still to this day, and I've had to get adjusted to it, is food. I hate spending money on food. And the thing is that my spouse loves spending money on food. Like and so do my kids. We went to Red Lobster a couple months ago before this whole COVID, and it cost me to let them get what they want, $300 just for dinner. Now, for you guys, it's like, wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. And other people are like, wow, you spend a lot of money. That's where the contention is to go over and bring. Where do you go do that? Because for ourselves, like when we were first married, I think we got our tax return out of $5,000 and we spent $1,200 just in food. For me, I look for long lasting things. I don't even golf, and I'd rather invest in the golf clubs because I know it will be there the next day. But you figure that out and you have those conversations. Like, what's a good spending budget a month for your likes, for your passions, for vacations, those type of things? Do you think $2,000 is a lot for a vacation? Or do you think $10,000 is a lot for a vacation? And lastly, secret spending or tell it all. Now, when we went over and you were single, you told yourself what you went over and spent and whatnot. But do you go over Now that you're married, is there a certain amount that you're okay for each other to go over and spend without having a conversation? Is it $10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000? Is there a certain amount that like, hey, you can go over and spend, or how much you can spend in a month and whatever it is? Or do you go over and secretly do that? And in those conversations, especially if you have to secret spend, that might go over and hurt in the long run, because eventually a conversation is going to be had, and it's not going to be a positive conversation. It's usually going to be a negative conversation. So those are the 7 things that we believe, with being inspired by fatherly.com. And again, you can go over and grab those resources and go more in depth in the article by 7 uncomfortable financial conversations for all married couples need to have by Adam Bergler. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. I don't know him personally. And that's a great resource to go and expound on this, because here is the superhero challenge for the day. Woo! And again, this is always a dialogue. So if you're watching and you have questions, we'd love for you to put them in the feed. If not, if you're on the replay, go over and put them out there. Our superhero challenge is find an object as a talking torch. It could be a cup. It could be a mic. It could be a mug. It could be a remote. Whatever goes over and is. And if you're going to go into these uncomfortable conversations, whatever one that you choose, because I don't care which one you choose, and have that as a talking torch. So when you bring up one of these topics, the person that has the torch is the only one that can talk. Because what usually happens is that as a person talks, you usually feel it out, and the average person interrupts in about 17 seconds. So I want you to have a fruitful conversation, because it's already uncomfortable. So I'm trying to give you some guidelines and rules to have this conversation. I don't want you to get into a you are accusatory slapping fest of a match verbally just because this is an uncomfortable conversation. But if you put yourself some ground rules, say on what topic you're going to talk about at a certain time, and then you go and have it, it will get from uncomfortable to comfortable, and the money and financial conversation won't be dirty anymore. It actually will be a comfortable and clean and safe conversation to go over and have. So I want to thank you guys for your time that you're going over and watch, either in the replay or on the live. Again, questions can always be put on Facebook or on Instagram. Not Instagram, I'm sorry, I'm not streaming there anymore. Facebook or YouTube or Periscope. Or if you want to go connect with us directly, go connect us on one of those resources. You also go on Instagram and direct message you want, but our platform's not put there yet. And last and certainly not least, if you guys are wanting to expound on this information and actually take holistically from the bedroom to the boardroom and learn how to transform your lives, we're actually going on a summit at the end of the month, May 29th and May 30th. And if you go to this website, easywayliveevents.com, you'll see us that we're in a virtual summit like with Sharon Lechter, Eric Zuli, and a bunch of other influential celebrities. And they're going to be talking about how to take your brick and mortar business, or maybe you're working corporate in the military and whatnot, and you're thinking about transitioning and you want to go over and thrive. We're going to be talking about from brick and mortar and beyond. And how do you, and for me specifically, I'm going to try to focus how to take your relationship now from the brick and mortar life that you had, bedroom to boardroom, now from bedroom to virtual boardroom. And if you go to that virtual summit and you sign up with our code word, War Hero to Superhero, you can go over and get a chance to win $250 on a Visa gift card. This is from me personally. It will not say learn and live. You will not get a 1099. You will not get a W-9 form. You will not have anything attached to taxes. You'll just have once I draw the winner, I will contact you. I will ask you, what is your address? And then I send you the cash. This is just my personal gift to you for signing up for the Easy Way liveevents.com. I will choose one of you. Once I have 1,000 people in there, I will choose one, and then I will give you one of you guys a $250 Visa gift card, totally set, ready to go, fees paid and everything else, and you can just use it as your leisure. No government write-offs, no IRS stuff, just straight to one of you, my military veteran and first responders. And I thank you for going over and supporting us. So continue to go sign up on there. We want to go over and meet that goal. We want to give away the card. We've been trying to do these giveaways for a while. And we want you to meet and exceed that goal because we want you to thrive from the bedroom to the boardroom. And always, no matter if you're watching this live or watching this on recording, we love for you to add to the conversation. So as you're absorbing this conversation, we'd love for you to take the challenges. If you agree with what we're talking about, great. We'd love to hear it. If you disagree, we'd love to hear it. We'd like to hear different perspectives and any stories you would like to add to the conversation to go over and be able to talk dirty about finances, which actually we want you to get clean about because we want you to be thriving from the bedroom to the boardroom, and we don't want money impacting your bedroom. So that is pretty much about it. So again, conversation's always a dialogue, never a monologue. We'd love for you to join. And again, we'd love to see you at our summit at easywayliveevents.com for a chance to win a $250 Visa gift card, totally given by me, not my company. So straight from me to you. So if you want to join, go hit us up. We hope you have a great day and see us tomorrow for another topic of bedroom. Let's talk dirty. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.